everyone, you know I love sewing curves, and today we have an easy way that is all using applique so you don't have to set in those seams. All right, today's quilt is super easy. It's using applique. You know I love curves, but I know a lot of you don't love to set in those seams, so this one is all fusible. You don't have to sew any curves. We're just gonna applique them on top, and you get this awesome round shape that gives a lot of movement to our quilts. So let's dive right into this. To make this quilt, you are going to need 2 packages of 10-inch squares. I have used Christmas in the Cabin for art gallery. You're also going to want this easy circle cut ruler. We did use a little bit of accent fabric just for this inner border right here, and you are going to need 5/8 of a yard for that. Then for your outer border, this collection has this really cool print that is designed for a 6-inch border, and so I used that. You are going to need 1.5 yards. If you're worried about fussy cutting that or making mistakes when you're cutting that out, you might go ahead and get 1 3/4 yards just to have a little bit extra, but it's designed for that 6-inch cut, so you should be fine. Then for your backing, I use this beautiful floral. You'll need 5/8 of a yard. You can see that here. I think that is so pretty with the little orange slices in there. And then they also have this really fun binding print, which I just think is genius. And so for that, you will need 2/3 of a yard, and it is designed to cut into 2.5-inch strips, so you get these cute little prints to show up on your binding, which is so great. I also use an invisible thread, and you'll need some fusible to do the applique. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is grab both packs of your 10-inch squares, and you're going to divide those into lights and darks roughly. So this doesn't have a ton of really stark differences in them, so you can see some of these are more mediums, and we just use the lighter ones in the background. But just divide it up as best as you can so that you have contrast between your background square and the circles that we're going to put on top. And so take some time, do that sorting, because half of them are going to be for circles and half are for your background squares. So now we can set these aside, and I have 2 here that I picked. So we're going to do the circles out of this cute little gingham, and we'll use these stars for the background. So first we're going to take our fusible. I'm using the Missouri Star So Light, and we are going to press this onto the back side of whichever square we decide to use for our circles. So let's go ahead and take this over to the ironing board. And I always cut this just a little bit smaller than 10 inches because I don't like it to hang off the edge and run the risk of getting onto my mat. So we're just gonna fuse that in place. And then while I'm here at the iron, I'm also going to fold this in half, just like so, and we're going to press this in half. All right. Okay, and so then now we can use our easy circle cut ruler, and we are going to cut this at 9 inches. And so I'm just going to line up. I want to make sure I've got this right. Yes, I want the raw edges, not the fold, to be lined up on this, it says fold line, but for our intents and purposes, because we only want half circles, we're going to put this on the raw edge. And then we want to make sure that we can get this full 9-inch cut, and that looks great. And so now I'm going to use my rotary cutter and cut out our 9-inch half circles, and it works so great. And now we have these 2 pieces ready to go. So now I can disregard that and bring in our background square, and we are just going to peel off that fusible on the back. And if you just kind of crease the edge, you can get a hold of that and it peels really easily. So let's do the same on this one. that little crease, that makes it lift. And then we can peel that all off. And so we want to line these up on opposite edges, and you should have just about 1/4 inch on either side, just like so. And so now we can fuse this down. So let's go ahead and move it over to the iron. And I'll just readjust, make sure my edges are lined up and that I still have that seam allowance on the sides. There we go. And then we can just press. When you're working with fusible, you want to make sure that you are pressing and lifting. You're not dragging your iron across that, because we don't want to run the risk that we'll flip up our shape and have that fuse to something we don't want it to. So I just use a really hot, dry iron and then make sure that's all fused in place. And that is really as simple as this block is. Now we're going to use our invisible thread and do some top stitching. So I already have that in the machine. If you've not used invisible thread before, you only use it in the upper thread. You use standard thread in the bobbin. So that's what I've done here. And I think I'm just going to use a little zigzag on this today. So let me just go ahead and get this oriented the way that I need to. And check my width here. That's a little wider than I want it. That looks nice. All right. And so the beauty of using the invisible thread is you don't need to worry about changing your thread color on any of these blocks. You can just sail one after the other, and it just blends right into the fabric. And I really love this invisible thread by Superior. It does a beautiful job. It doesn't tangle. It doesn't break on me. And so you can see I can just gently follow this curve. And it's super easy. Just like so. There we go. So you can, maybe you can see, maybe you can't. It is invisible after all, how we've done that little zigzag, and that's just going to secure the edges of that fabric. So as we wash it and use it, it's not going to fray or pill, which is what we want. And so now we have our blocks complete, and I would obviously go around and do the other side so that the block is all finished. So let's go ahead and talk about layout in this quilt. And so I just took my blocks, and one goes this way and one goes this way, and I just alternated back and forth for each one. And so it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across by 7 down. And then I did this little stop border. This is just a 2.5 inch border with that accent fabric. And then this is that fun border print that I showed you at the beginning. I think it is just so cute. It's a 6 inch border, and I did miter these corners so that it kind of continues all the way around, which I think is just a really fun detail. And so then of course this binding is adorable. I did it so that the little trucks showed, but let's take a look closer at that binding and how it works. So here is this fabric. And so you can see when you open it up, it has these fun little dashed lines. And the dashed lines are cut every 2.5 inches, or printed every 2.5 inches, I should say. So you can cut on that and then use it for your binding. So here's a strip that I've already cut. So depending on which side you place up, you either get these really cute peppermints and these little cars, or the holly and the Christmas candy. And I just love this addition. I think it's such a fun idea, and I hope we see more of this in the industry because it adds just that little touch of whimsy. So again, here's these cute little cars on the front, and then we have the peppermints along the back of our binding, which I just love. Let's talk about how you would sew that down. So let's pretend my block here is the edge of the quilt. And if I wanted the cars up, like I have on the quilt behind me, you would put them face down so that they're right sides together. And of course you would stitch this with your 1/4 inch seam to the front of your quilt. And then when you fold it back, those cars are gonna show and the peppermints are gonna wrap around, which is so cute. And so this quilt finishes 72 by 81.5. It's a great throw size, and I quilted it with this kind of fun peachy thread in circle meander. I absolutely love this project because it is so fast. So hopefully you get started here a little early for Christmas in July, but even if you want to do this the week before Christmas, you can probably get it done. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on retro snowballs, and I'll see you next time. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching at home. We're so excited to be almost 1 million quilters strong here at Missouri Star. And so if you haven't already joined our family, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of all of our future tutorials, and we'll see you soon.